Hello everyone and welcome to the World Class Stand podcast. This is part 2 of our interview with James Beattie, and you may be watching it early if you're part of our World Class Club. Steve, can you tell us a little bit more please?
Yep, if you are watching early, thank you for supporting us, but if you're not, our World Class Club has 2 tiers, a gold and a silver. The gold is $2.99 a month, that is ad-free episodes, so if you want to watch it straight through with no interruptions, go for that. And also early release with that too. And our silver tier is 99p, and that's early release episodes. So if you like what we do, please support us.
Yeah, remember to like and subscribe. We'll get back to you.
Yeah, so around 2003, you got a few England caps. What was your time experience with the England team and getting called up, and some of the players that you was kind of playing alongside at that time is part of England's golden generation? So yeah, what was that like going into the England setup?
Well, I mean, immensely proud moment for myself. I felt I deserved on form to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a long time coming, and I'm sure that the fans and maybe other fans from other clubs were championing me at that time, which was nice. But I guess that goes on form and your performances against their respective teams. And but I knew that there was a big thing. There was a big thing in the paper that Ericsson never came to any Southampton games, and then he came to one and he was pictured, and I think I scored 2 or something, and then I was in the next squad.
How's he approached you then to call you up to England?
Text message.
Okay.
I think
You're in
10p text message at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 12.
Which
actually.
was, I didn't really care.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
Yeah,
you're in,
definitely.
right?
Yeah.
It had been rumbling on for a few weeks, and pundits and players that I played against, and I remember Mark Schwarzer. I think I scored 2 against Borough. Mark Schwarzer said, "How was he not in the England team?" And just little things like that, and then it came about, and just a surreal moment basically.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, obviously excellent there. Sort of a golden generation. You've managed to make 6 caps right for England?
5.
5.
Yeah.
That's some
5
achievement,
caps.
especially for that era. It was, really good, really good.
It was, yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I've been asked many times to look back on it. And you say golden generation there. We should have won something at that point.
Yeah, 100%.
But I know probably why we didn't.
Is it because as fans we hear about like the cliques in the dressing rooms?
Yeah.
Manchester United players sitting together, Liverpool players sitting together.
And as a
Arsenal's.
youngster going in, you know what I mean.
Was there anyone to say, "Oh, come sit with us"?
The only 2 people really that spoke to us was Sol Campbell and Beckham that welcomed the younger players. So there was me, Trevor Sinclair, Matty Upson, and it was. I thought it did seem a bit weird, but it didn't click at that point what was going on. But now, understanding dressing rooms and high performing teams, and been involved in a few myself, and especially when playing, but then also on the sort of coaching side of it as well. It wasn't a good recipe. You had unbelievable players, but they weren't a team. They weren't cohesive. They were. I would say a few of them would be selfish rather than seeing the sort of performances we've seen from Gareth's teams and teams in the past, like the '96 Euro team.
Yeah,
that was a team.
Yeah, you could tell that by the anthem, couldn't you? At the start of the games, everyone's.
Did they see each other as a threat then in that dressing room? Was that
I don't know what it was. The only thing I'd put it down to probably ego.
Okay, not a club rivalry thing either. Maybe no, just individual
representing your country.
personality.
You've got 3 lions on your chest.
Yeah.
I know you're all Welsh, but
I'm not.
We've got a rogue Englishman, yeah. Yeah.
It's like wearing the Welsh badge or any badge.
Yeah.
You're representing your country, and you should do that as a team.
And how's obviously the management's not trying to tackle that behaviour? Is there kind of a bit of not player power, but is there a bit of I don't know? I don't know. I think in football we go through cycles. But I think a big thing that sometimes goes under the radar is morale and team spirit. Right.
Yeah.
It always has to be part of it. We go tactical. We go, these the foreign managers that come in, which are great, but we go. The trend goes like that, and then there's loads of them, and then it goes, oh no, we'll go a bit more English this time, or we'll go, 3 in midfield, or 4 in midfield, or 2 in midfield.
Diamond,
all the trends and that. You watch them in football, they go up and down, up and down, up and down. But if you haven't got morale, we sort of oversee it sometimes, because then we go, oh, it's all tactical. Formations will never win a football match. Ever. Players win a football match.
Individual moments, teamwork, work ethic. That's my opinion anyway. Formations will never win a football match.
Do you think that's part of why, obviously, you touched on it there about having foreign managers? Gareth come in, he got to 2 finals, semi-final. Probably could have gone all the way if he had a little bit more luck. But having like some foreign managers that they had, Sven-Goran Eriksson, Capello, was it? Maybe they didn't pick up on, like you said there, 3 lines on your chest, let's all pull together as a team. It kind of feels a bit more like a club type manager coming in, rather than international, we're all English, we're all here to do a job, and if you're not going to gel together as a team, you don't get selected type thing.
That's the statement, isn't it? I guess it'd be the outlook of the manager and how he manages. But I do believe that if you had a good ethos and a good way of managing a club environment, and then you went to an international and you did it the same way, then I think you'd have good results.
Yeah.
If you tried to manage it individually, like you said, oh, because I've got this big name, so I need to pander to them.
You're not going to get success that way.
I don't think you do, because
Yeah.
they'll see it as like, oh well, I can do what I want.
Yeah, yeah.
Not that it's authoritarian, because the best dressing rooms, well, all dressing rooms belong to the players.
It's the people side of things again, isn't it?
Again,
people are people, and they need to be treated as such.
But then, if you give them ownership of the dressing room and they start to abuse it, then that's where you have to come in.
Yeah.
Rein them in a bit, yeah.
But that's why there's so much work done on backgrounds of players.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, personalities and
Yeah.
and traits that they have, because it'll be all over the social media. There's not a person that you couldn't pick the phone up to and get a reference. Teammate, manager, ex-manager, mate.
Yeah.
Reputation, isn't it?
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well,
It's
like,
everything, isn't it?
You mentioned about your move from Blackburn. One of the first things Dave Jones asked was like, "What's Beats like? Should we bring him in?" And you got a flying, glowing reference. So yeah, I was
Cheers,
obviously
Rippers.
yeah. Bro, obviously I didn't quite make the Euro 2004 squad. It was kind of a bit of a it was a toss up between, I think it was you and Emil Heskey at the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, it must have been a big disappointment to miss out. Yeah, kind of what was kind of the conversations that went on there, or was it just a text message again? Kind of like
I don't think I got notification. I just wasn't in the squad.
Wow. Okay.
I think there was some. I think there's something. I can't quite put my finger on it, but that was the time when the players were talking about striking. And I was doing a documentary for a thing called Three Lions, and it was on the journey towards the Euros. And I went and did after we'd had this big meeting where the sort of big voices were Beckham and Gary Neville, and they were saying, we're not going to play. We really feel strongly about this, and all that. So, and I was a bit like, just come to play football, lads, because I was only young at that point. And then I went up to my room and recorded something, and then they actually showed it on the documentary, and I never played for England again. And I don't know whether that went against the grain with the FA or what, but I don't know.
You might have been.
It wasn't. It was only to give insight into what was going on. It wasn't. Mind blowingly. disruptive or
controversial.
or
I think sometimes maybe scapegoat mentality there, because maybe easier to,
because I think Emil was he was a good player at that time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I think that I felt I deserved to go, but it wasn't a
You scored more goals than him, didn't you, in the Premier League in the lead up, didn't you? Quite significantly.
Yeah, again, but I think you look at his partnership with Michael Owen, and there's a lot of sort of different angles you can look at it.
Different style of player as well.
He's a lot of
Target man,
people's sort of favourite strike partner. Obviously, he used to do a lot of setting up for the goals, didn't he? So maybe you're looking for the partnership side of things. But
I think they played.
Must have been gutted to miss out.
They played Germany. They did that 5-0 at Germany, didn't they?
Yeah.
They were the ones who were playing up front together.
Yeah.
To be fair, Owen must be not easy to play with, but he was top, well, world class probably. I think, he was another level again, wasn't he, Michael?
Yeah. When he first come on the scene and that, and his pace and his goal scoring and
finishing,
he was great. He was great because you're an England fan, aren't you? I mean, you're probably not, but no, but you're a fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
You have your club, and then this is how I would see it. The mentality is if you were playing in it. You have your club, and then you go to England, and you're like, all right, come on.
Yeah.
You've got the free lines. You've got the whole country behind you, not just your club fans, but the whole country.
Yeah.
Who will respect you. Whether you're a good person or you're a good player or whatever, or they won't like you because you play for a certain team, or you have all the sort of dynamics of what fans think about players.
Yeah.
But you're all under that one umbrella, and you're going into, qualifying and then tournaments, and got to just be, got to be a team.
Yeah. So there's one particular game against Australia, which
debut.
Yeah, which in Australia is, quite a famous game. Yes, because it was a very big upset, wasn't it? I think 3-1 was it? Yeah, lost to the Aussies. I mean, what was it like to make your debut, obviously, and playing games like that?
Again, it was you making your debut for England, which for me was a big thing. Looking back on it now, not the greatest result, but a really proud moment for myself. Seeing my mum and I actually saw my mum and dad when I was singing the anthem at Upson Park.
That must have been a special moment for you.
Yeah, and it's more special now. It means more to me.
Yeah,
because at that moment you're concentrating on the game, and you're not as mature as I am.
You think of all the work put in to get to that moment. That's kind of the pinnacle, really, isn't it?
Something you can give back that that all the sacrifices were worthwhile because they were in England shit, and that's got to be the pinnacle proud moment for any parent, really, isn't it? Seeing your child line up for the national side.
Yeah.
So that must be a special moment for everyone involved.
Like you say, the work that goes into that, it's years and years and years and years of that commitment.
And what you said as well, the dropout rate, that there's people who do the exact same and they don't get that return, do they? There's thousands of players each year just get cut from academies and things. So you just
there was a stat on. I don't want to say failure rate. I'll say because you've got to be careful with words sometimes. You know what I mean? But it's not a failure rate. It's just
it's the reality, though, isn't it?
It's the reality,
pros?
yeah. It's the percentage of children that actually set out to be a professional footballer. I think the rate is that don't make it is 99.8%.
Yeah, I think it was
Carl Palmer, I think.
Was it Carl? And he said 0.001 actually make it, and then
he totted up the number of players spots available in the the top leagues.
It's about 1,000 pro spots at any one time.
Yeah.
So to actually make that, and every year there's another set of hungry young players who are coming in trying to take your spot. So
100%.
That's without the nuance of there's some delusional situations, isn't there, with that? But it's
And now with the Premier League being a global brand, it's not just the best players in England, it's the best players in the world. And the scouting networks have increased, and the more money that's gone into
why
it.
they invest so much money on that sort of infrastructure, scouting and recruitment.
Get it right, yeah.
Well, if you get it right, and you have a good system that recruits players from, that don't really cost that much, and you develop and the bit that not everybody, but the bit that people forget is, can they come in and perform and help your club achieve winning leagues or championships or whatever while they're there? They always talk about the fee, not about what they can actually do when they're in the building.
Well, moving on to kind of, you mentioned there about the development. Southampton, known for having a cracking development system. Some of the players that come through the academy, Gareth Bale being a Welshman, and obviously one of the
Waiting for that.
Got that.
greatest player. Yeah,
Every pod.
I'd get Bale in. So who's some of the players that impressed you coming through the academy? During your time at Southampton, they've obviously had a litany of stars there. But what was kind of some of the ones that kind of stood out for you?
I think Adam Lallana's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Had a great career. Was is a friend now. Still playing. Gone back to Southampton.
Yeah.
Really nice lad. Theo is another one.
Yeah.
Obviously, Theo was a little bit younger, but he was, there was rumblings about him even when he was sort of 13, 14.
Arsenal legend. I'm an Arsenal fan, so yeah. Theo's
but played
up there.
Played for Southampton for a little bit, and then went and made his name really at Arsenal. But played in the game with him at St Mary's not last summer. Again, another really nice lad who's on a different career path now with his media work.
Yeah,
comes across very well.
Yeah,
but I got another really nice lad, Gareth, who you said. But then there's the ones like I mentioned, Leon Best and Dexter Blackstock. They had sort of a constant stream.
Yeah,
of
Jason
young
Bunchen,
players.
did he come through, or was he signed? He might have been signed
He
actually.
got
Yeah,
signed.
yeah.
But there's Bridgie.
Yeah,
Bridge. Luke Shaw as well.
yeah, Luke Shaw.
Shaw.
Yeah,
Yeah, a couple of left backs there.
Yeah.
James Ward-Prowse a bit later, obviously, but yeah.
Rousey, yeah. You should have mentioned him. I think he's just been gone back to West Ham when he from.
They recalled
yeah.
him from his Forest loan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, just going back to your career, you moved from Southampton then to Everton. Which manager was at the time?
Moisey.
Moisey would have been. Yeah, he's
And
obviously back there now.
Was it
Didn't
Redknapp
ask him,
at
right?
Southampton that sort of was initiated the transfer, or whatever happened there? Was
So
he
yeah, so Harry came in, and first conversation we had, he went, "Beats, I'm gonna have to sell you. You mean only saleable asset."
Wow,
that sounds like Harry.
Okay. And then he said, I'm sure there'd be no shortage of suitors, and I think I spoke to Aston Villa, and Everton.
And what was it like moving back closer to home as well? I'd imagine that was a bit, be closer to your family, or they moved down with you at this point. But
Well, I had a new family down here, didn't I?
yeah,
So yeah, Sarah and I moved up. We didn't have any children at that point, and we got married in 2006. So I'd been at Everton
Right.
sort of 12 months.
Yeah. Seems like a really family-orientated club, Everton.
Yeah, really good club.
Yeah,
Still speak to quite a few people there now.
yeah.
They're moving to a new stadium, and they want me to go up and do the lounges before.
Oh, nice.
I've been doing it
Yeah.
consistently over the years. Again, like you said, it's nicknamed the People's Club, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was certainly some really top people at that club.
Yeah, I mean, we were given the front door key pretty much to the podcast
Yeah,
there with Jermaine
yeah.
Beckford, so they were good to us as well, yeah.
Yeah, I can vouch for. I'm just going to put Liverpool on blast here. Did you know Liverpool wanted £15,000 for a minimum for having a room at Anfield? So they said they wouldn't entertain any bookings for less than 15 grand. I was like,
Right.
okay, guess that we're not doing the interview there.
Who was you going to interview?
Ricky Lambert's.
Right.
So we ended up doing that in like one of the local hotels.
Yeah.
We thought to see if we can get a room in Anfield, but yeah, I haven't got 15 grand. Sorry, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of like the way they go in with their club, and
Yeah.
Everton more of a club of the
Yeah.
people. So yeah.
Yeah, so talk us through your time at Everton then.
Yeah, well, I met Moisey on the De Vere on the side of Bolton's ground. I was very impressed, and I guess if the reason he was talking to me because I'd scored the goals and the performances, he felt that I could fit into Everton's team. He said we'll get loads of crosses in, and you'll score goals for us, hopefully, and that was it. Another great dressing room with the characters. Tommy Gravison only stayed for a little bit, but Davy Weir, Alan Stubbs, Leon Osman,
Cahill.
McFarlane,
Ferguson.
Fergie was there.
Oh yeah.
What was he
Fergie-
like?
Again, with me, he could have seen this younger player coming in, but he was great.
Yeah.
He was great.
Seems like you don't want to mess with him. He seems like
but
he
he's
might.
not. He's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not normally or in normal situations.
I just went
overly
across the-
aggressive.
Yeah, nothing. You just
Yeah,
come.
you wouldn't cross him or annoy him. That's probably a more sensible way.
Yeah.
But he used to train in the gym and that, and he used to go on the heavy bag and that.
Yeah.
He was so strong, but he was so wiry. He was just like long levered, but so powerful.
No one's spraying deep heat in his underpants today, so.
None of the sort of dressing room tricks were going on with Dunk, no, because I think retribution would be sort of tenfold.
Was he your direct competition at Everton, or vice versa when you went there? I'm trying to think who else was.
Yeah, but like I say, I think he could have seen it as that.
Yeah.
But I think me and Dunk had a couple of games up front together.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Yeah.
I bet the centre halves didn't.
No.
Yeah.
That was a good experience. But then, it was, again, the dressing room that Moisey had built there was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Personalities in there, morale, team spirit. Lee Carsley, who's obviously gone on to do great things in management, and I'm sure will do still.
Phil Neville there as well at the time.
Phil was
Skipper,
a bit
wasn't he?
later.
I was a little bit there,
Yeah.
was he? Right.
I wasn't. Okay.
Can't remember when he left. Man
No, I
United,
can't
but,
either. Arteta, was he there?
I don't think Mikel came straight away because I came in January. I'm sure Mikel came
In the summer.
in that summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Rangers. Wasn't he?
And he just, again, it was a lot around team spirit, and there was no real superstars, but when we played as a team, we were good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
And we got into Champions League qualifiers, didn't we? And Fergie scored what should have been a perfectly legitimate goal, and Kalina disallowed it and then retired. straight after the game.
That's true, that is. Yeah, that was the season. Obviously, Liverpool, they won the Champions League, but they didn't finish in the top four, and they had kind of got like a rule change, like backdoor entry. They had to go through qualifying, wasn't it? I think there was a big thing around the time about the money as well, where like the Champions League money, where it's supposed to be split 25% each way, and like Liverpool was like, oh well, you don't get any of the money if you come in, but because Everton failed to qualify, I think they ended up getting like their 25%, whatever it was. But yeah, it was very unlucky not to reach the Champions League. I suppose that was kind of personally, I might have been disappointed not to obviously get to play.
We had a 2-round tie against Villarreal. I remember I scored the goal at home. I think we drew 1-1, and then Fergie's goal would have put us through. But it was towards the end of the game, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with the goal.
Was that the away goals then? Was that
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it was two equalised 2-2.
Yeah. Okay.
And it would have went through. Yeah.
Had a good FA Cup tie against Liverpool as well in your time at Everton. Or those derby games like?
Ooh, yeah, derby games are good. The wheelie bins are purple, aren't they? A mixture of blue and red. The rivalry again. I guess like any other city can be okay into family.
Yeah.
But then there's some examples where the fans really don't like each other's clubs.
It's not a Cardiff Swansea rivalry, is it, or something like that? It's
not
more
a
of
Swansea Cardiff.
It's
It's
more
not
of
a
like
Rangers Celtic.
Rangers
Or it's not a
Celtic, yeah.
Southampton
Or
Portsmouth.
City United.
I don't know. City United is the same city.
That's
isn't it?
Liverpool United.
It's
Yeah.
more.
Bigger one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of, should we say, aggression, Leeds Man United's a big one in terms of aggression.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Merseyside derby. There's so many people that live in Liverpool, and
Yeah.
you could have split households in it.
Yeah.
So for your football allegiance, you're not going to take that into your family and say, right,
Some might.
you're out. See you later.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, we mentioned emotion before, and football's an emotional sport, and I guess there's some strange goings on Derby Day, which probably wouldn't happen normally, but
Yeah.
it's a good derby for sure.
You mentioned about your move earlier. We talked about Sheffield United. Just touch on that. Obviously, we talked about it, but moving to Sheffield United and leaving Everton, you said you didn't want to particularly drop down. But yeah, you had a kind of good time there at Sheffield United. What was your experience like there, and kind of a tough decision maybe to drop out the Premier League?
Really enjoyed it at Sheffield United. Another good club with good people there. Good people around the club, and a really good dressing room. I've been so I won't say lucky, but fortunate to be part of some amazing dressing rooms, and I've made a lot of lifelong friends along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Which again I think is, as you sort of mature, you can be mates in a dressing room, but then you understand what sort of true friends are, and who will be there for you when the times aren't so good, and you'll sort of weather the test of time, as it were.
Yeah. And
I've made some really good friends from dressing rooms I've been in, and Sheffield's no different. I didn't want to drop into the champ, but I enjoyed the time, and I believed that we were going to get straight back up anyway.
Yeah, and you probably would have if maybe the transfer which you mentioned moved over to.
They made the playoffs. I went to the playoff final against Burnley, and they lost 1-0. And whether we'd been in the playoffs or not, I'm sure.
I think Burnley had a late run that season, didn't they? Into the playoffs, they was like outside, and then they kind of just crept in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and mentioning derbies, Sheffield Wednesday in the same division as Sheffield United at that point? Did you get to play against them?
Yeah.
I kind of I'm thinking I'm remembering the right season year, but I think Burnley creeped into the playoffs and Cardiff lost like 7. No, it wasn't 7. Maybe like they lost to Sheffield Wednesday on the last game and they dropped out the playoffs. I think Burnley just got in,
right,
and they ended up going up that season. They beat Sheffield United in the final, but obviously. What was those that like the Steel City derbies?
Yeah, they were good. Yeah. Again, really good. Again, different, varying levels of rivalry and animosity between people, which you're always going to get. But the fans certainly loved it, because again, it's bragging rights, and there'll definitely be some sort of stories along the years which are unsavoury, but I guess every rivalry is like that.
Did you score in one of those derbies?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I scored it. Yeah, I scored. We were losing 2-1 at Bramall Lane, and it was the last minute, and I scored a free kick from 25 yards.
Oh, nice.
That's one for the fans, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Fan
Yeah.
favourite straight away.
Yeah, I was speaking to a Sheffield United fan before, and he said the days of the week are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There's no Wednesday in Sheffield United fans weekday. But
Just before we move to Stoke, just to touch on characters in the game. I believe, obviously for the Welsh contingent here, Gary Speed was a coach, was he, at Sheffield United?
No, he was a player.
He was a player, was he?
He was a teammate, yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
Great fella.
Yeah.
what do
He
you?
used to pick me. He used to have a driver did speedo, and again it was one of them. He sort of took on the. I remember playing against him at Southampton. I can't remember where he was playing. He might have been at Leeds, and he ran into me, and I felt like I'd been hit by a train. It was unbelievable. It was one of them where I'm concentrating, and I think I'm making a run in the channel.
Yeah.
And he's running this way, but I wasn't ready for it, and just wipe me out, just clean. And I thought, where am I? What's happening? And it just winded me. And then again, roll on a few years, and he's my teammate, but he was great. Looked after players. We didn't need look after him, but he sort of seen himself as that sort of father figure and who wanted to just help, basically.
Yeah.
After the career that he'd had, he was so well respected in our dressing room, and proud to call him a friend, and just devastated with what happened.
Indeed, yeah. Okay, so on to your move to Stoke, one season there.
Tony Pulis, another man management. Yeah.
Yeah, so 38 appearances, 10 goals I've got here. I'm not sure if that's correct, but it's Stoke.
It might be.
Yeah.
Is Wikipedia correct? So
Yeah. Some
Don't
characters.
read everything
I know.
Don't believe everything you read on there.
So talking about characters again there, I mean, Roy Delap, I think you played with him a couple of times actually in your career,
Yeah.
the long throw.
Southampton and then Stoke.
Yeah. Ricardo Fuller, I've heard a few
Yeah,
stories
right.
about him.
Yeah.
So yeah, Stoke.
Yeah, so we've sort of been through the way it appeared and it arrived. So then I go to Stoke, and I'm at the stadium starting my medical, and then Tony just comes in. He said, right. He said, we don't need a medical, son. He said, I've seen you play. He said, I know you're all right. He said, I'll see you at training tomorrow. Like that. And I thought, yeah, that was quite cool. And I had the medical, but he just sort of walked in, shook my hand, said that, and then walked out. And I thought, yeah, that's all right. I'm quite having that. And I thought it was quite funny. And then, yeah, it was great. He used to, I came in and I did the business for him and the club. Again, some great lads in there. A great dressing room. They had, I think was it the first season in the Premier League?
Yeah, it would have been.
So
Yeah,
I think we just got promoted, and at that time, the sort of, again, not a team of stars, but as a team, we were good, and we could get results on the day, and it felt, when I first went in, it felt a little bit like they were hanging on. It was half a season to go, so then you go in with your presence and what you can bring to the team, and that is shown not just in the performances on match day, but shown in your everyday sort of behaviour. And it was good. We had some good characters in there, and I think he signed Matty Etherington at the same time.
Yeah.
Like you say, me and Rick were up front.
Dunchai was around then.
Tony was there.
Yeah.
He was
Great player, he was.
funny guy, but again, ability ridiculous. Abdullah Faye at centre half, Ryan Shawcross centre half.
Big strong side, wasn't
yeah, Rory in the midfield, and Matty Errington on the left, and Wilco at right back. But it was a big side, and we did used to do things. He did used to sort of keep the grass longer in the corners, and but it's like it's the edges in it, all this sort of marginal gains, all that sort of stuff, and we Tony was trying to keep the club in the Premier League, and I think we had a good relationship. He used to come to me and say, "How are the lads feeling? What do they need? And do you think we should do anything sort of socially or whatever?" And then we stayed up, which was great. And then I heard that the club or him, they were trying to sell me, which would have been fine. I'd enjoyed that 6 months, and we stayed up. So then I probably would, in my mind, I probably would have wanted to stay and sort of develop with the team and the club. And then we sort of it took a bit of a sort of sour turn. The game, I'm sure you've heard of it. The incident at the Emirates, and I just wanted to sort it out on the Monday. I'd been not involved in stuff like that, but seen it, and I was man enough to just say, well, let's just shake hands and crack on. And he wasn't having it, and he went to try and assassinate my character in the papers, and that's what I had a problem with. I wasn't bothered about what happened at the Emirates, because it would have ended badly for him anyway. If anything would have happened. But it's stuff happens like that. Arguments happen. You say things you don't mean. You do things you don't mean. But then when you've all calmed down and your emotional state is settled, you shake hands and you get on with it.
This is the infamous.
And I thought that's what he would do.
Yeah,
that's the type of guy, but he wasn't. But I just thought, well, that's fine. But then he started going after me in the press, saying I was a bad character and that. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, mate. It's only 2 months ago you were asking me.
Just around the Christmas thing,
Christmas, yeah.
And
it wasn't even me.
Yeah,
that's the thing. But he saw me as the spearhead because he was the one that had forged that relationship with me.
Yeah,
that I was then the spokesperson for the team.
Yeah,
and how they were feeling and what.
Yeah, it's disappointing when kind of it goes down that type of
but it's
roads.
I was just annoyed that he went after my character and saying things that weren't true.
Yeah, I mean, like if you wanted, you could say, "Oh, look, I'd rather you go," and you could have settled that privately, couldn't you? You didn't have to do that in the papers. Just say, "Oh, look, I don't fancy you not anymore. I'd rather you move on, and we'll sort of move for you. You don't have to go down that personal route." But but anyway, give you a chance to play for another great club and great manager, Walter Smith, Rangers.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was Walter like as a character, actually? Because he's one of the old school type managers, and he comes across as like another great manager. Or kind of what did you learn from him and going and playing for Rangers at that time?
He was Walter was a great guy. Gave me an opportunity to play for a great club, and for me, because of what happened at Stoke, I'd sort of been training on my own and not really training with the team, which again can happen but shouldn't really.
Mm-hmm.
Happens quite a lot, doesn't it? Where you just cast aside,
yeah. But again, we mentioned at the beginning an asset. It's ludicrous the way some clubs treat players and stuff like that. But it happens, and they'll stand behind everything, and the club's this and it's that, and we've got these morals and this ethos and everything like that, and then things like that happen. But it, like you say, I for me, the Rangers move was bad timing for me personally. There's no way I'm going to turn it down.
Yeah.
But the thing with it was that Walter and I had spoken, and we'd agreed that because of this poor sort of training regime that I'd been doing or been allowed to do,
Yeah.
we had a 5-week program in place, so I wasn't going to play for 5 weeks, and I was going to do the hardest pre-season that they could possibly throw, and I wanted that because I wanted to do myself justice. So the first game of the season comes around, Kilmarnock, and Stephen Davis is ill overnight.
Right. Okay. So
I don't know this, but I turn up to the stadium, and somebody come and said, "Oh, Gaffer wants to see you," and I was like, "Right, okay." And he started to explain about Stephen, and I went, "I'll play," and he went, "You'll do for me, son. I'll get ready," like that, and I made my debut on the first day of the season.
In his position, or
No,
Okay.
it was. I did start the game.
yeah,
But he had to move the team around and then brought a spot up. And ended up rupturing my rec fem in my kicking leg.
right. Yeah.
Not on that game, but about 2 weeks later, and that was probably because, and I'm not making excuses, because I own it, but I do think it was bad timing.
Yeah.
And it was, that set me back another 14 weeks because it got misdiagnosed. And which is unfortunate, but
It happens in
stuff
football.
like that can happen,
Yeah.
So then I was sick, I'd been out of not training properly for about 4 or 5 months. Then I had another 14 weeks. And then they just said, "Oh, well." And then Blackpool wanted me.
Yeah.
To go. So I only spent really 6 months at Rangers.
I mean, there's not a lot you can do in that scenario, really, is there? Because you had a training regime in place to get you back up to match fitness, and then Gaffer asked you to play. What are you going to say? "Oh no, hang on a minute. We agreed a 5-week plan. You want to play as well as a player, so." And then
In hindsight, like you say, I'm never going to say no.
yeah.
I can't.
And it could
not
damage
play
your
for
relationship with him
Rangers.
as well, isn't it? If you say, "Oh no, I'm not playing," he's like, "Oh, what do you mean? I need you. Like, you can't let me down." It could damage, relations.
There is that. I don't think he would have seen it as that.
No, he seemed like a good manager, but
he was brilliant.
coming from Tony Pulis, and he kind of hung you out to dry a bit. You don't really want to kind of rock the boat coming into a new club.
Tony obviously had his good points in other ways. You know what I mean? But it was just that sort of, like you said, he should have just sold me at the end of that year. We'd have both gone our separate ways, and none of it would have happened.
yeah. Just conscious of time. Obviously, edit this bit out. Should we flip to 1 to 11 shorts and
Yeah,
Q&A?
we can just move on a little bit.
James, what's your 1 to 11? Your best ever 1 to 11 played with and manager? Who would you put in goals?
I put in goal Anthony Amy. I've played with them, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, played with.
So I played with. Right, okay.
Okay, go through left back then, centre backs, right back.
Left back, Wayne Bridge. Centre halves. Are we excluding England here? Or
Anyone you play with.
Anyone you've ever
You can
played
choose
with?
anyone, but if you want a favourite club because you play with them more, then you can do. But
yeah.
it's your team. You can do what you want.
My team. I'm the manager. What are you on about? No, I'm not the manager. I've got to choose one, haven't I? Centre halves, Dean Richards and Klaus Lundekvam. I'm not going any England.
Are we playing 4-4-2?
I don't know yet. I'll let you know. Told you formations.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
football match, mate. People do.
Sounds like
Let's
you're
get
going
some.
to have to have a right back, though, I think, with those three.
Yeah.
Start with, okay.
Bridgie was a left back. Right back, I'll go. Dodsey.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was a good captain as well.
Yeah.
Got a couple of captains
He's a good lad.
across that line.
Midfield.
Play with some midfielders. So
I've got to put Scholes in there. Sorry.
Okay.
yeah. Is he the best for you out of Gerard Lampard's scores?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've said he's best player I've played with.
Right. Okay.
Which one of you is on the
I'm
fence?
pro Scholes, I thought.
Okay.
Well, I got a really controversial take. I'd say he's not world class.
It was
but What do
funny.
I know?
Paul Scholes in world class.
Well, here's my
I'm
argument.
going.
Let's move-
That's what I was like.
Carry on with your
I don't
team.
know what's
Here's-
going on.
Carry on with your team.
Yeah, carry on with your team.
Here's my argument quickly. Is
I'm not bothered. But it's my team.
go on in. Yeah.
So midfield, who dare I say Scholes, and then probably Mikel in it.
Yeah.
He wasn't bad.
Just quickly on him. Did you see him going into being a top manager?
He was very, very serious.
Yeah.
And analytical.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then got an unbelievable opportunity to sort of go and work with Pep.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like that at Everton. He was only still quite young then, wasn't he?
Okay. Yeah.
He was there. He was serious sometimes.
Okay.
Good lad, and his English was near on perfect as well. But he actually loved because he was probably technically better than anybody in Everton's squad. But he actually loved the sort of camaraderie and
Yeah.
He
Barca
loved
boy,
that,
wasn't he?
Yeah, but then if you've got that sort of technical background and then you embrace that side of it as well. That's sort of two big parts of a team that he's got.
Yeah,
He's
true.
got at Arsenal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right wing. Who would I go? Beckham, probably.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really leave Beckham out, can you? He's player of a generation.
So it looks like it's 4-4-2 here, is it?
Yeah, I might play lopsided though. I might
Okay.
play 10 now. Yeah. Who's left with? Bridges got loads of energy.
Yeah, just to tackle that on his
get him
own.
going up and down and that, and then if their right back's coming out, we'll just shift across. But yeah, Tiz.
Yeah.
Play Tiz as a 10.
Okay.
And then me and Marion Pahars up front.
Nice.
So.
Yeah.
And
Well, let's chose Pahars as well, actually.
yeah, he
In
did.
his, in his
And
one.
You
Man-
didn't choose me. Oh,
Whoops, can of worms here.
watch the pod.
He's out now. This is out.
I shouldn't have mentioned that.
right, sub. Number 7.
It's not Beckham, not 7. That'd be an interesting one, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be an interesting
Yeah.
one. Be more interesting than that story that Carlton told you about him moving his stuff out the way. Did he tell you that story?
Don't think so. No.
No,
Said
I'm
he
not
said the first day he came in, he said he knew that Tiz sat in a certain place and that, and he moved his stuff. Oh, mate. No, you didn't.
Is that after he came in his chopper? Because he
Oh,
said
yeah.
he. Yeah.
He got a few stories, Carlton. He was great with me. Great with me, but
Yeah.
I think I'd been told and found out from my own experience that some of the things that he said you take with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
Not a full
Shaker.
shaker.
Whatever.
Maybe even a little bag of salt.
Fair enough.
Or a sack.
And manager, just to round that little bit off.
Yeah, I'll have to go Gordon Strachan.
Kiddo.
Still made a massive, he had a massive impact on me, and I played my arguably best football underneath him. But he's still a good friend now.
Great.
Picked the phone up to him, and he's free with his advice, and he's he's a proper man of football through and through. But he's done things for me that he sort of took me to the Grand Prix once and introduced me to his mate Rod Stewart, and
Well,
Nice.
okay.
you know what I mean, just little things like that. Not little, but I mean,
It's nice
what
touches.
would be just little for him.
Things he didn't have
You
to
know
do.
what I mean?
did he?
Didn't
You
have
know?
to do.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
And I guess it would have been sort of, again, the relationships in football are so important, and it would have been that he liked me, what I did for the team, but then obviously liked me as a person, and what I sort of stood for, and
Yeah. Great.
he's just a good guy, really good guy.
And the shorts, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we get on to them,
Okay.
quickly out that side, obviously Scholes is nailed on world class. Any others on that side who you give the world class stamp to?
I think he's not in that side, probably because I didn't play with him, but he came on in the second half of the Australia game. Rooney made his debut at the same time. I think Rooney's world class.
Okay. What about Beckham? He did a lot in the game. Would you say he's world class, or maybe
he had a world class right foot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I sort of am on Beckham. He's world class, but
and he was
dead ball situations.
Again, he was nice to the younger boys, and I think
Good character.
And I think anybody, you know what I mean, that's got a problem with him being as successful as he is, or they're looking at it too shallow.
Yeah,
because he's a good person. A lot of people probably won't like him because they're jealous, but he was good to me, and that's all you can. And I think there's loads of stuff out there now.
Yeah,
that shows he's got a sort of good heart and he's a good person.
He's a bit ahead of his time, really, and kind of thinking of a career outside of football and the branding deals and the image. I think he's one of the first footballers in that time to kind of really make David Beckham a brand that he could go on and take outside of football as well as within the game.
Yeah, I think it's a bonus. He's good look. He was good looking.
Lovely hair.
Yeah.
Lovely hair.
Or
well.
he was the world trendsetter on hairstyles.
Yeah.
And his partner, obviously, at the time.
Yeah, they were a power couple.
Package,
Exactly.
wasn't it?
You know
Yeah.
what I mean, I think they work for each other. But
Yeah.
And we'll ask. I know he's your mate. Letice, did you say he's world class? We've had a lot of debate on our show whether Letice is world class, yes or no. A lot of people say yes. Some people say no.
I'd have to say yeah.
Yeah.
I think there probably is a little bit of bias there. However, you show me a collection of goals anywhere in the world like Matt's.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There will be. I mean, Ronaldo will have one, but is Ronaldo world class?
For
One
me,
of the
he
best
is.
ever, I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I thought you-
no,
Of
of course he is. Of course he
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Of course he is. R9 and R7.
Yeah.
World class, yeah. Nailed on.
Nailed on, world class. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Letice, yeah.
And people will say, "Oh well, he wasn't. He didn't run around and say, well, you don't need to run around if you can score goals like that."
His goals like that, haven't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Short.
Well,
he did a little bit.
He's
right?
a bit
yeah.
more mobile.
Yeah,
than Tis, I
he
reckon.
loved to tackle. Loved the yellow card as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first for your short man?
Yeah.
Or show
All right, then. Best ever goalkeeper you've ever seen?
Best goalie I've ever seen.
Yeah, played against, or who do you think's the best goalkeeper ever?
Schmeichel.
Defender?
Toughest defender you came up against?
Is that the question? Toughest defender? I have always said Sol when he was at Arsenal.
Sol Campbell. Okay. Best midfielder you ever seen?
Wow, you got me here, isn't you? Best
This is tough.
midfielder
This
I've
is
ever
tough.
seen.
played against. Yeah.
Pirlo.
And best striker ever to play in the Premier League?
This is
Been a
tough.
few. This is tough.
Shearer's got to be up there, I suppose. Isn't he?
Yeah.
Record goal scorer.
That's a shout.
Henry.
Aguero.
Henri.
Henry.
Okay.
Who knows?
Try to do this one.
Yeah, you want it?
So this is attacking players that played at the Dell versus players that played at St Mary's.
Okay.
So there's 11 names, and I'm going to fire off the two names, and you say who you pick, basically. Is that yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
You
So
explained that quite well, yeah.
yeah. So I go
Work out
with
the rest when you tell me.
so the first name is going to be the Dell, and then the
Yeah.
second name is St Mary's. Okay. James Beattie or Manolo Gabbiadini?
Beats.
Stuart Ripley or Sadio Mane?
My opinion.
Yeah.
Mane.
Marion Parhas or Shane Long?
Marion.
Kevin Davis or Ricky Lambert?
Lambo.
Mark Hughes or Jay Rodriguez?
Sparky. Worst trainer ever, but in games, unbelievable.
Io Berkovic or James Ward-Prowse?
Done well here, aren't you?
Done my research.
James.
Rod Wallace or Dusan Tadic?
I didn't see Rod play, but the reports I've had of him are phenomenal. So Rod.
Egil Ostenstad or Graziano Pella?
We could do with Pella right now. Pella.
David Hurst or Danny Ings?
That's tight. Ings.
And last but not least, Matt Letizia or Gareth Bale?
Tis.
Ooh.
Okay, that was good. That
I just wanted to annoy you two.
Le Bale, I think I pick another.
Real.
No, obviously Gareth was.
But
No,
Southampton
ridiculous,
wise, isn't it?
Oh, I mean,
Southampton
yeah, it's how you interpret it. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
You've
Yeah.
had some players, mine, haven't you?
Okay, so mine was a winner stays on. So I'll give you two names. You choose your favourite, and then the next name will challenge it. So.
Right, go on. Can we just favourite or
No, so there was just like your opinion. So this is like football pundits. Who's your favourite style of football pundits? And then we'll just go through a list of 10 names and you just tell me who stays on. So first of all, Jamie Redknapp or Clinton Morrison?
Jamie?
Jamie or Ian Wright?
Righty.
Ian Wright or Tony Cottee?
Ian Wright.
Ian Wright or Chris Boyd?
Righty.
Ian Wright or Paul Merson?
Righty.
Ian Wright or Jamie Carragher?
I do think Carragher's really good. Carragher.
Jamie Carragher or Gary Neville?
I do think Gary's really good as well. Gary.
Gary Neville or Matt Le Tissier?
Is that the last one?
No, there's one more after this, yeah.
You've done that on purpose.
Yep.
A commentator or
Just as like
Pundit.
football pundit, yeah.
yeah, I've got to go Tiz, Anna.
Okay, and Matt Tiss or Roy Keane?
Oh, I do like That's why they're in the job, isn't it? I'll keep Tiz on there.
Yeah. Okay.
I've
Bro.
got to, haven't I?
Yeah.
I'll be getting messages and all sorts. They'll come around my house and pull all my trees up or something.
Bro.
Should we can do 10 quick fires. We got time, or did you want to?
Do what you want. No one will walk in that door.
You sure?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. What's your best goal you've ever scored?
Best or favourite? I'll do best. Best was probably Stadium of Light, or there's been a couple at Stamford Bridge. Probably Stadium of Light. But my favourite one is the West Brom. I scored a half volley against West Brom at home at St Mary's. It's the most difficult one, technically. I think.
If you were trapped on a desert island and you got to take one former teammate with you to try and get off, who are you taking with you?
Billy Sharp,
Billy Sharp?
Okay.
Yeah.
because he's busy as anything. And he just makes something, a raft or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, what's the best freebie, perk, or sponsors thrown you in your career?
I was sponsored by Puma once. Puma were great back in
Yeah.
the day. I used to drive to Carnaby Street, which was the sort of pilot flagship store. I had an X5 at the time. I used to just reverse it up, fill it up, and then just drive
No
off.
way.
Not without saying thanks,
Yeah.
obviously. But it was great. But
With anything?
They stopped for anything.
Wow.
Anything from inside the store. And the first time I went to meet him, it was when they were relaunching the football boot brand and trying to go into how they are now.
Like Puma King phase, we talking, or
Yeah, but they were trying to bring in the sort of newish looking boots.
okay,
The ones originally that didn't have the, when everybody kept breaking the foot.
Yeah.
And they looked great and they were light as anything, but they didn't give your foot any support, which they've developed now. But I remember the first time I went, David Hay was in as well, and they were going to sponsor him as an athlete. And used to go there. But with Puma, I got to go to 1 year. I got to go to the Monaco Grand Prix, and I went into the pit lane, and Fisichella was a driver, and he everybody wears Puma Sparkle boots, but he was sponsored by Puma, and he wanted me to meet him, and I went down before the race, and we exchanged. I gave him a football boot, and he gave me a pair of football boots, and he gave me a pair of sort of F1 boots.
nice.
Oh, nice.
That's cool. Was that complete freebie as well down to Monaco?
Yeah, that was down. Yeah, everything was paid for on that trip.
Nice.
Oh, great. What if you could replay a game? Which game would that be?
I'd like to replay my England debut game. Can I rewrite it as well or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, do what you want.
Yeah. I'd like to rewrite it with us winning and me scoring.
Hat-trick.
I think I would have. Well, let's not be greedy. I think with
Assist.
yeah, with me, me scoring, because I think I would have gone on a different trajectory then.
Okay.
I've never been asked that before. That's a good question. That nice one.
Okay. Olympic gold swimming medal or Premier League winners medal?
Premier League winners medal.
Okay.
On the footy boot sort of theme, what was your favourite pair of football boots?
Oh, having said all that about Puma and what they did for me, I was absolutely in love with Umbro Speciales
Okay.
because Shearer used to wear them.
There were some nice boots around that time.
Kings are me go-to now.
Copas.
Copas are nice.
Yeah.
Copas are nice.
Great.
Puma Brazils. Big tongue.
Yeah.
Used to get. I had a pair of them when I was younger.
And nice boots, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
What would you define as a world-class player?
Someone who performs at elite level consistently.
Certain amount of years or a certain amount of seasons? Is it got to be like? Is it a time frame on that? Do you think?
Yeah, at least 5 years.
Okay.
But then you could come onto the scene and be world class. But then if you went off it again, yeah. So the consistency would be the thing for me. The
So
consistency in high performance.
So you can flick between it almost in some ways.
Well,
You know, world-class games maybe,
yeah.
Okay.
but not necessarily
World-class
a world-class
performances.
career.
Or world class instances, or
Moments, yeah.
If you could have one transfer to a foreign club, play abroad, who are you going to? Who do you reckon is the best move abroad?
dream one.
Yeah, just like
Real
that.
Madrid.
Real Madrid, yeah. Okay.
Okay. And what is your guilty pleasure or something that you love that people don't know necessarily about you?
Why would I tell everybody?
Well, if you give an example, was it Dean Windass is big on the soaps?
Corey. Loves his Corey,
Emdale.
apparently.
Is anything like that, or like
Yeah, just something that inside four walls that, you know, if you're willing to share it, obviously.
Yeah, I can't tell you.
Favourite meal? You know.
we might
I
not
can't tell you
leave.
my real guilty pleasures. Can I? I like fishing.
Okay,
Fishing, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool. Like that.
I like fishing. I like going and sitting. Because I wrote my pro license assignment on detachment and work life balance, and I'm really good at it. And I had to present at the end of it to a panel, and Sean Dice was on there, and I know Sean's big into it as well, but he said, "Oh, that was really good. Can I have a copy?" And then one of the professors that I spoke to on it said, "You should do some more work on this because it's really relevant." And it was about stressors and stuff like that in football.
Yeah.
How we individually deal with that. And he said, if you do more research on this and more work, he said you'll be able to publish it as a paper.
Okay.
There
And
you
I was
go.
like, oh yeah, well, just do that in my spare time when I'm not working.
Use AI.
Yeah, I think it's a big thing.
Yeah.
There's so many areas in sort of management and because if you let it, it'll consume you. It will actually consume you. And you see people they actually consume themselves and they don't know how to get out of it. And
Yeah, the line's blurred, aren't they?
yeah, because
Bit of a perspective.
you've got a life to live as well. And I think there's too much, there's a lot of social pressure on, if you're not the first in and the last out, or you're not working hard enough or whatever. Whereas other countries look on it, if we were to see somebody take a power nap in this country and someone was at work and they were like nodding off like that, it'd be frowned upon, wouldn't it?
It would,
Like,
yeah.
you were up late, or you're burning the candle at both ends, or get out, get yourself home, get some sleep. But in Japan, they actually encourage it.
Yeah.
Because after a power nap, productivity goes up 100%.
You'd be right at home there, Matt.
Oh, everyone in the car this morning. We
I know, I've just caught him before. But, and I think there's a lot of social and people fall victim to that.
Yeah, you are right, yeah.
Because if and there'll be certain people who'll think, right, well, he should be in here at this time and he shouldn't leave till this time. But then what about if I've done my work and then I can go home and recharge my batteries and then come in tomorrow feeling the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to be at your best,
You have to be.
and everyone's got a different way of peaking.
Yeah, you're your own biggest asset.
Yeah.
And energy is so important, and being mindful and having clear thoughts and not getting too caught up in you. But that's a lot about you learn about self-awareness.
Yeah, it's a skill, isn't it?
100%. And you need all of them. In football especially, because it's so full on. You see it. You see it just generally when a manager takes a position. Have a look at a photo of him then to 12 months after.
Great, yeah.
I think you can already see the change in
Do you know
Ruben
what I mean?
Amorim, can't you?
Yeah.
At Man United.
That's true.
He's,
Yeah, it's a good example.
Because of course and I'm not saying no one works hard because they do, but if you could have that balance for yourself, you'd be in such a better place, and you'd be so ready to go on the front foot and put your energy into it. You see so many managers take the job there and then they go down and down and down and down, and that's why. Because they can't detach from the game.
Yeah.
And some people say, well, why should they detach to the manager and all that sort of stuff? But then we're coming round to this way of thinking about mindfulness and looking after yourself.
Yeah.
Rather than driving yourself into a flipping early grave or a heart attack.
Yeah.
Which was actually, at the time when I did it, was really prevalent because Rafa had a problem.
Benitez,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Gerard really had some
and,
issues.
and there was a couple over in America with basketball, which again is, head coaches and stuff like that. And I had a look at the different techniques that several people had employed for the self, and taken little bits of that. And I went to see Charlie White in the FAI director, Formula One director, and he was saying, I can't detach because they're important things, and because it's global, they come in at different times.
Yeah, 24/7, isn't it?
And he said he had his first marriage, and he was you know. But then in this one, he's made until he passed away. He's made significant changes. You know,
to take enough time away.
yeah,
take a break,
and give the people around you that you love that time as well.
Yeah,
and not take the job home, and not go home and take it out on your wife or your children. And but that takes a lot of work mentally if you're not like that.
Yeah,
that's true. Well, high profile now. Pep, I think he's been quite private. They say sometimes he's got his own personal space. But obviously now the pressure's mounting.
Yeah,
and obviously he's been in the public eye of maybe taking that home with him. He's had a few not meltdowns, but a few moments in front of the camera, hasn't he? So
yeah, but after that, you know, that's
the pressure of the job.
Being in the spotlight.
He said that's not pressure. You know what I mean? Of course it's pressure, but it's all relative, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pressure is getting shot at.
Yeah.
Well, survival, isn't
You
it?
know what I mean? Or pressure's living in Ukraine at the moment, or having, trying to make ends meet, put food on the family table for your family, and that's pressure.
At the end of the day, it's a ball full of air, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a game.
White posts at either end.
It's a game, and I'm not saying that flippantly. It's not like we don't take it seriously. We do. I do.
But yeah, I think your point is you can't do that 24/7. There's got to be a line drawn where you switch off basically, and then switch on again.
Detached, yeah. But and you always get your best ideas and your eureka moments when you're relaxing anyway.
Yeah.
If you're looking at something and staring at it, it ain't gonna come.
Yeah. Yeah, something you said about recharging the batteries, isn't it? If you're constantly on, you're just going to wear yourself out, like you say, to health conditions and things, and ultimately that's not for the benefit of your job, is it? You're best when you're rested and able to think clearly, and like you say, get those eureka moments in your downtime where you're not thinking of it, and then idea pops into your head or something.
Yeah, when you're fishing.
Yeah.
Neil Warnock's a lot of thinking time there. It must be.
Neil Warnock's a big fan of fishing. He didn't do too bad as a manager, did he? So.
Who is the GOAT?
Ronaldo.
Which Ronaldo?
Yeah, good question.
That's 7.
Okie doke.
Yeah. All right.
And that's that. Yeah,
cool.
Brilliant.
All right, well, we'll wrap up there, but we just want to thank you for inviting us here today. We really appreciate your time as well. So we just want to be respectful of that. And so we'll just wrap it there, guys. So thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you want to see more episodes, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed today's show, leave us a like. And if you want to get involved in the debate, drop a comment in the comment section. But that's it for this time, guys. Have a world-class weekend.